Since its inception, Pokemon has touched the hearts of millions of fans across the globe. Because of this, fans hold their first ever game close to heart. This game for me is Pokemon Crystal. That's why for my first video, I just go over the history of Pokemon Crystal's development and how the mobile game adapter failure affected Crystal. Only less than a month after Pokemon Gold and Silver were released, development on Crystal began. We can assume this due to Pokemon Crystal most likely being built off of Pokemon Gold. This is due to the rival's name in Crystal is Silver, the same as Gold version. On Silver version, the rival's name is Gold. Another reason is the Super Gameboy's border for loading up Crystal is the same as Gold version. However, the first semi-mention of Pokemon Crystal wouldn't come until December 16th, 1999, when the daily newspaper Asahi Shimbun released an article about rumors of a new Pokemon game. This game was referred to as Pokemon X, which is most likely a placeholder name, and was supposedly going to release in April of 2000. However, Pokemon X rumors will be shut down when on February 8th, 2000, a fan asked a question about Pokemon X at a public chat session held by ABC. Tsukasa Ishihara, the president of Creatures Inc., responded with this: "There's no such thing as Pokemon X. However, there is a project with some of the elements you refer to under development in Japan. We don't have any specifics to share with you right now." The elements Ishihara was mentioning was a major point in talks of a rumored Pokemon X, and this element was cell phone connectivity. Nintendo wanted to push their new accessory, the mobile Game Boy adapter, and believed that Pokemon Crystal would be a system seller. Because of this, in Japan, the main gimmick of Crystal was being able to trade and battle with friends all over Japan. If the mobile Game Boy adapter sold well, Nintendo planned on releasing in other regions. Though this never ended up happening, as the adapter only sold around 80,000 units in its first year, and it's likely it didn't sell much more after that. There are many possible reasons why the mobile Game Boy adapter failed, but the main reasons people point to are: the release got delayed to January 27th instead of launching with Crystal. Only about 10% of Pokemon Crystal's target audience of kids had a cell phone. Coupling that with the adapter only being sold in cell phone stores and having to subscribe to a service to use it, it's no wonder why the mobile Game Boy adapter failed. The next mention of the development of Crystal came in on August 24th when Space War 2000 was held. On Space War's official website, they announced Pokemon Crystal and showed off early builds of what the online trading room would be. We got to see more parts of Crystal on September 15th when Koro magazine had a section dedicated to Pokemon Crystal, showing off the new female character and the Pokemon animations in battle, first for the series. This will continue in the November issue where it shows off the box art and the Susaween plot in-game, with other Crystal-specific changes. Finally, on December 15th, Pokemon Crystal was released, with it coming to America on June 15th of the next year. Sadly, as of now, I couldn't find much about the actual development of Pokemon Crystal, but development is believed to have been relatively short, as they used the base of Pokemon Gold to make the game. Now I would like to go over cut content from Pokemon Crystal. The first difference is a model of Chris, the female character. On the deleted article on Game Freak's website, there were several early images from Pokemon Crystal. One includes an early version of Chris, where her color scheme was black, with black hair, shoes, and shorts, along with longer pigtails. It also seems they made the early Chris much more reserved, with her not appearing as confident as the final Chris. You can also see an early version of the player's room, with it decorated with plushies alongside the old Chris Overworld sprite. You can also see an early battle sprite for Chris, with it looking very similar to Gold's than the final one. In another image, we see an early version of Pokemon Center. There are numerous differences. In another image, we see an early version of a Pokemon Center. There are numerous differences, but to start with is the lack of the trading corner area. Cutting room floor guesses the reason for this is that the earlier trade corner was actually the NPC besides the Pokemon news machine. The other differences are the missing and move NPCs, as well as the layout of the rooms. Also, the administration office is in the left corner instead of downstairs like the final game. The administration office's layout is also changed, as the original looks similar to the Game Freak offices in Celadon. In the final version, the office is flipped horizontally, with plants and an entrance mat was added. The game logo of Pokemon Crystal also changed throughout development. In the earliest rendition of the logo, it looked very similar to Gold and Silver's logo, with a tentative title also included. As development continued, they changed the logo again. The later logo looks pretty similar to the first, except with a slimmer font inside the crystal, and a crystal encompassing the words Pocket Monsters. In the next screenshot, we see an early version of the online trading room. Two rooms look completely different, with a room having a blue-green color scheme instead of the gray and green in the final game. The railing is also missing, as well as the middle path and the elaborate pattern in the room. There are also many small differences, like the symbol on the floor being red instead of blue. The symbol is placed closer to the machine. The Pokeball banner was also changed to red. Parts of the machine are gray instead of green. One of the biggest pieces of cut content seems to come from the unused trainer dialogue. A lot of this can be assumed to have been cut due to online compatibility being taken out of the international release, though there are some unused call dialogue from trainers that was likely used as a placeholder, like this one. "How are your Pokemon doing? My Pokemon are a bit too energetic. Blank Pokemon especially. Every time it spots a trainer, it has to battle. It gets to be a bit much for me. There's another one that goes like, my blank Pokemon is looking tougher than ever. It looks even tougher than me. The fisherman NPC in Azalea Town has unused dialogue, as even though the line should already be translated, he only said the last line. He's supposed to say, this Bill guy created this system for storing Pokemon on the PC. Bill's PC can store up to 20 Pokemon per box. In the Kabuto chamber, there is unused dialogue from the scientist NPC. It proves that the original text was much more clear in what you're supposed to do, like so. The patterns on these walls appear to be words, and those sliding stone panels seem to be signals of some kind. I think they make Pokemon appear, but it's not clear yet. The text for checking the unknown panel seems to have originally been a pun, and the text reads, it's unknown text. Instead, in the game it says, patterns appeared on the wall. In the Glitter Lighthouse, the NPC Sailor Huey had a post-battle dialogue before asking for your number. His dialogue went like this. What power? How would you like to sail the seas with me? In Violet City, there was unused dialogue from the two NPCs, Youngster and Gameboy Kid. Youngster says, I've been thinking it would be great to be able to link up in battle with my friends who live far away, referring to the mobile adapter. Gameboy Kid says something similar. I just battled a friend in Scenewood over a link. If you connect a mobile adapter, you can link with a friend far away. These dialogues are scrapped, most likely because of the failure of the mobile adapter. Youngster Samuel on Route 34, original post-battle dialogue, was, have you been to Golden Rod City? Are you not amazed by how they've changed the Pokemon Center? That's most likely referring to the trade corner in the Japanese version of the game. Interestingly enough, apparently in the Japanese version, the method of acquiring the odd egg was different. Instead of just outright giving it to you, he gives you an odd egg ticket, which you can redeem in the PCC. He also said this before giving it to you. I'm the daycare man. There's something new in Golden Rod called the trade corner. I was given an egg ticket that can be traded in for an odd egg, but since we run a daycare, we don't need it. You may as well have it. On Route 36, the last NPC had a different dialogue, referring to a Goldenrod Pokemon Center, saying, an archery is blocking the way to Goldenrod City. I want to go see the huge Pokemon Center they just opened. This was most likely cut due to improvements to the Pokemon Center being focused on compatibility. On Route 40, the Rocker NPC has different dialogue, as the Battle Tower was changed from the Japanese release to not use compatibility. Compatibility. He says, Battle Tower is opened. I want to go, but I haven't thought of a cool line for I want to win. Strangely, the Rocker NPC had dialogue for when the Battle Tower is not opened, even though he doesn't appear until it does. The dialogue reads, did you come to see the Battle Tower too? But I guess you can't go in yet. In the Scenewood Pokemon Center, the Super Nerd NPC had different dialogue from the American release, as he says, don't you get the urge to show off your Pokemon to your friends? I wish I could show the Pokemon I raised to my pal in Violet. He also speaks directly about the mobile Game Boy adapter. I've been battling my friend Violet using a mobile adapter link. I'm down 5-7 against him. I've got to crank it up. On Route 45, Camper Quentin had dialogue referring to the mobile Game Boy adapter, saying, I'm really tough. Is there anywhere I can prove how tough I really am? Guitar's Clyde says something similar on the fast ship in the post-battle dialogue. I was going to make my debut at the Battle Tower. I should go back to Vermilion and redo my training. A Super Nerd in Cerulean City also had a different dialogue, as he said, do you battle with mobile phones? If time runs out during a battle, waiting to see who won is really nerve-wracking. The last NPC in Celadon City had a different dialogue, saying, I love being surrounded by tall buildings. Isn't it true that the Goldenrod Pokemon Center was made much bigger? That's so neat. I wish we had a place like that in Kanto. This was changed due to the Goldenrod Pokemon Center not being made bigger in the international release. Finally, in Saffron City, a teacher's NPC dialogue was changed. The original said, what are Johto Pokemon Centers like? Oh, I see. So they let you link with people far away? I'm going to get my friend Johto to catch a Maryland trader to me. I hope after learning a little about Crystal's development and content helped you better appreciate Crystal. Despite Gen 2's flaws, it's still one of my favorites to replay and has a special place in my heart. Thank you for watching.